Pancakes. Simple idea. Whip up some batter, cook it in a pan. And as long as you know some basic technique, it's pretty easy too, even in cast iron or stainless steel. Preheat your skillet up to medium-low, add a little fat, then pour in your batter. Flip it, cook the other side. Bam. But you knew that already. Everybody does. In fact, pancakes are a little too simple for me. They're boring to cook, boring to eat. But we have a little piece of cast iron here that wants to come to the rescue. Help us overcomplicate cooking pancakes. This is an Æbleskiver pan. I found this piece of cast iron neglected in a back corner of my parents' kitchen cabinet. It was looking pretty splotchy, so I stripped it, cleaned it up, and then re-seasoned it. Came out quite beautiful. But what do you actually do with it? Well, you make fancy pancakes. You can probably use the exact same batter that you would use for regular pancakes. I also made the mistake of jumping right to level 2, which is trying to stuff it with special ingredients, like a strawberry. That's right, one of the most fun things about cooking Æbleskiver is the variety of ingredients that you can stuff them with, but more on that later. Because my first attempt was not working out. Okay, not going very well over here.
Sticking a little?
Yep. First attempt at Æbleskivers. They're hideous. You see here, after the first side cooks and you start to see the batter bubble, just like with pancakes, you're supposed to flip these little fluffy boys and cook the other side. But they were sticking. It took so long to flip each one that many of them were burned by the time I got to them, because I was spending so long on each one before it. I should have started without fillings and just trying a couple at a time. Of course, you could simply solve the sticking problem by using a non-stick version of an Æbleskiver pan. Since we're not doing that, let's learn some basic technique. First, preheat the pan for several minutes at medium or medium-low, then brush in butter or another fat. If you're using butter, it should be sizzling. If it's not, you haven't preheated enough. I think I filled these a bit too much. Before we go any further, I'd like to say I'm not an expert. I haven't spent 20 years as a line cook serving up Æbleskiver to a hungry public. In fact, I've only been cooking with this thing for a couple of weeks. Let's try again, shall we? If I'm not adding fillings, I'll pour batter right up to the rim or a little bit below. Then I wait a couple minutes until the batter is decently bubbly. I've been using a spoon, but other people use a skewer or a chopstick or a knitting needle. Whatever works best for you. I gently try to spin the cake topsy-turvy so that the cooked side ends completely upright. It's turning! It's turning! Wow. If this step is difficult, you may just need to wait for it to cook a bit longer, or you may have messed up on an earlier step. Feel free to express your frustration in whatever ways feel right to you. Then try again. Okay, probably should hold on to that. Okay. Those are Æbleskiver. Once flipped, cook the cakes for a couple more minutes, then remove them from the pan and allow them to cool on a rack. See what we're working with here. Okay, that's what you want. Yes. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, all right, it's coming out. Okay, yes. Hi.
Ah!
Æbleskiver.
Looks delicious.
Even without filling, I much prefer Æbleskiver over pancakes. The way that you flip it and the batter has to drip down to the bottom of the cup just makes it much more fluffy and airy and delicious. Plus, they're just more aesthetically pleasing. Æbleskiver are often served with powdered sugar and jam. But Æbleskiver literally means apple slices, and so the story goes, that's what these were originally stuffed with. And diced cooked apples with a little sugar and cinnamon is still a great filling, but there's a bunch of other things you can stuff these cakes with as well. Berries, one of my favorite, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries. You can do applesauce, custard, jam, Nutella, chocolate chips, cream cheese, marzipan, caramel, or savory options like sausage, cheese, mushroom, caramelized onion, anything you can imagine, really. If I was adding a filling, I'd pour slightly less batter to prevent overflow, and then I'd press that filling in enough that it's covered by batter, but not so much that it will poke through the other side and burn. Get down there. There's probably a better way to do this. Then proceed as before. There's gotta be a better technique here. This is gonna burn for sure. Gotta get that berry juice covered. Okay. Which one did I pour first? Remember to keep track of which one you poured first, because that's the one you want to flip first. I don't remember. So far, strawberries are my favorite. Like I said, no expert Æbleskiver chef, but my biggest problems I ran into were using too much heat. I would tend toward the low side of medium-low, putting in enough fat before you pour in the batter. Wow. And then it's just about timing, getting that timing right so that it's that perfect golden color rather than too blonde. Okay, too blonde or black. Oh, a little too much. When will I learn to hold the handle? And of course, the flipping itself. I haven't had success yet with the chopsticks or the knitting needles that I think are more traditional. I've just been using a spoon, but that's worked pretty well for me so far. Hi, Mrs. Claus. I've tried a couple of different batter recipes. Thin, thick, doesn't seem to matter. They both seem to work. And I think as long as I'm using the techniques I've talked about in this video, pretty much any batter recipe should work. This company, Jotul, whatever it's called, it is no longer making Æbleskiver pans, unfortunately. But I did find a couple on Amazon that look very much like this. Hello again. People are asking how you're so well seasoned. So black. Honestly, I hadn't thought about Æbleskiver in many years, but it did have a part in my childhood. My family and I every year would go to the Scandinavian Festival in Junction City. They'd be making Æbleskiver, and the line for it would always be wrapped around the block, just a huge long line. They'd serve it, I think without any filling, just with powdered sugar and jam, but super popular. With good reason. You were very cute. Can I bring the camera closer without disturbing you? Hi, Mrs. Claus.